menu.
Folks, welcome back to another Magnus's Loot Crate. I am your host, as always, Magnus Deacon. Well, we just did a Legends episode, so let's go ahead and take a look at some more of those masterpiece style and third-party bots. And this episode is going to be an extra little something special, so stay tuned for that. So with that, folks, we're going to just go ahead and dive right into the festivities. Now folks, this bot is particularly special to me. This is my EAVI Metal Phase 4 transistor from KFC, and as you can see, I got him for $100 at Heroes Con in 2018. This was my first ever third-party transformer, and it was a bit of a shock and surprise to find him. You know, I rolled up in the convention. I'm sorting through things. Back at this point, I was collecting more of the chug type stuff. You know, classics, Henkei, Universe, Generations. I was particularly big on Power of the Primes, Titan's Return, and stuff like that. But when I found this bad boy, I was just awestruck at how much he actually looked like Blaster. Now, whoever had put him, you know, whoever was selling him already had the Autobot logo on his chest, which kind of which you know, it didn't strike me at the time because I didn't know anything about third-party Transformers. But he was such a gorgeous figure of, you know, of Blaster that I just had to pick him up. And he is definitely a good-looking bot. Yeah, people have said that his arms look a little funny. And I agree, if you've got him down to his side, they do look a little off. But I think that's a lot to do with his transformation. But he is definitely a gorgeous Blaster figure. And I'm just going to go ahead and, without further ado, I'm going to transform him up and let you see his Ghetto Blaster mode. Why not? Now folks, you can probably tell that they put some pretty heavy details into the Ghetto Blaster mode of this particular version of Blaster. I've heard reviewers say that he's really a little too heavy on the panel forming. He's a bit of a panel former, which means that, you know, like his arms open up and there's panels to hide all the open spaces. I'm not really bothered by things like parts forming and panel forming, as long as the end result is the bot mode looks good and the alternate mode look good. And oh no, in this mode he definitely looks really, really good. I mean, just he's got a little more detail than he probably needs for a Blaster. But it's those very same details that keep him from looking a little too plain. So, I am definitely happy with this version of Blaster. And like I said, he holds a special place in the old Magnus heart because he was my very first third-party Transformer. So folks, that is KFC's EAVI Metal Phase 4 Transistor. Now, I don't know anything about the other phases, so don't ask. But there you go. That's my version of Blaster.
Megatron, emergency bulletin from Cybertron.
Now folks, when it comes to certain Transformers, we all have to admit that some of them's alt modes didn't age very well. The very same is through of this is Takara Tomi's MP13 Soundwave. I got him for $50.50 on eBay. He is a very nice looking figure, to be honest with you. I mean, I do like him. I've already got orders in for Fans Toys version of Acoustic Wave when he comes out. But I have to admit, you know, with our modern time MP4 players and things like that, Soundwave and Blaster have kind of aged out in a lot of ways. But you know what? The nostalgia factor is still worth getting these guys for. And Soundwave here, as you can see, I've got his chest open and I've got him, you know, kind of posed up with Laserbeak starting to come out of his chest because he does come with Laserbeak. I probably should have put Laserbeak's little, you know, maybe his cassette mode animation model down there. But I think I'll probably show all of them off together at some point. And just give you that look there because, I mean, they're all definitely nice looking. They all fit inside of his chest. He does have where you can reach inside and push the chest plate back inside so that you can fit more than one of the cassettes into his chest. But he is definitely a good looking bot, you know, and as you can see, you know, in the video here, he's got a little more to him than the original animation model shows, but he does definitely have the Soundwave look. You know, he's got the battery the missile launcher on his shoulder and his gun both turn into the batteries for the cassette player and fit on his back. But he is definitely a good looking bot for the price. And let's go ahead and transform him up and take a look at that very painfully obsolete cassette player mode. Alright folks, here he is in his cassette player mode. This is, you know, Takara's MP13 Soundwave. I've had to do a little bit of paint job around his chest plate because the colors were a little bit dull and didn't look right. So as you can see, he's got Laserbeak standing on top of his on top of the cassette deck. Now the back of this thing doesn't look very good. I'm gonna admit, you can probably see it when it comes around, but if you look at the sides and the front, he's got all the ports and, you know, volume knobs and all that stuff. He's got his play buttons down in the thing. He is a very, he looks like a brick. Let's just, he looks like a plastic brick, but he is a nice figure for what it's worth. So this is definitely the painfully God I feel old just looking at this thing, because I remember when these were the hottest technology out there. But for the time, it was definitely a spying and espionage type of thing. So for Soundwave, it was sort of the perfect, you know, the perfect mode, alternate mode for him. Even though, like I say, it's so painfully aged out at this point that I think only vintage collectors would even own one of these things just for giggles. But folks, there he is. That is Takara's MP13 Soundwave. And I'm going to keep, you know, some videos of this one. And when I get Acoustic Wave, I'm going to try to do sort of a side-by-side comparison if I can, just to see the difference in the look between the two. So folks, that is MP13 Soundwave.
I've got Megatron dead center in my viewfinder.
Now folks, this here is X-Transbot's MX-X Toro. Now this is, yeah, their version of Cliff Jumper. I got him for $69.99 on TF Source, and he is rather a good looking little bot, I have to admit. His face looks a little flat, I can't really lie, but just looking at him, he does have that Cliff Jumper look, except for, you know his windows around his chest area being a little too dark. But he does definitely have the cliff jumper look, and I like this figure. He is definitely worth picking up. For those of you who may be thinking about getting a cliff jumper, sorry, I had to reach down and grab something. But he's definitely a good looking bot. I think everybody has already talked to death the fact that he's got that backpack. And yeah, I get it, it doesn't look that great. But sometimes things have to be done to get a car from car mode to bot mode and get one to look good. Now, speaking of his car mode, I'm going to go ahead and transform him and show you his car mode. But it's definitely not tune accurate, so to speak. Let's go ahead and transform him and I'll show you what I mean. Alright folks, here is Cliff Jumper's car mode. Now, in the show it had more of a stunted penny racer look to it. But you can probably see behind me, that is a picture of an actual Porsche 924 Turbo, which is what Cliff Jumper transforms into. So, the car mode is real life accurate, to be totally honest with you. But yeah, it's not tune accurate in any way. Although I will admit, I'm kind of divided on whether or not I'm that worried about whether or not the car mode's accurate. Because if you go back, the bot mode is definitely more accurate. But yeah, this is a nice little figure for $69.99. It's not a bad figure. He is one of the first figures, actually, that I ever ordered from TF Source. So there's that too. But no, I definitely like the car mode, and the transformation is a little bit of a pain in the butt, I'm not going to lie to you. Otherwise, this is definitely a good solid figure, and he does have sort of the Cliff Jumper look to it. So folks, that is MS-X Toro from X-Transbots. There you go.
The Transformers will return after these messages.
Greetings, Magnus Corps! Welcome once again to another Loot Crate. Anyhow, come see me on the Late Show every Friday night at 11 p.m. Central.
We now return to the Transformers.
With that much energy at his disposal, I don't see how Megatron can be defeated.
Now folks, these are kind of going to be a couple of back-to-back. Mainly out of the fact that, well, they're both the exact same car. The only difference is the paint job. And the first one you can see here, this is MP17 Prowl from Takara Tomy. Pretty sure he's a knockoff version, but I don't really care. He is the first of the three infamous Datsun brothers. Now, I'm only going to show him and Blue Streak for right now, because really Smokescreen didn't show up until right around Season 2 anyway. So, as far as the art crew goes, Prowl and Blue Streak were the first two of the Datsun brothers, as it were. Both modeled after the Nissan Fairlady Z from back in the 80s, as you can probably tell by the car behind me. But they are definitely a couple of good looking bots, and I've thought about maybe getting the plus versions, but I'm not really that picky about the, about having to have both of them be, the plus versions, because you can just look at it and tell this is Prowl. There's no two ways about it. He's a little more detailed, I guess. And of course, as you can see on his legs, on the toy and on the animation, that Yeah, on his legs it's blue, but you know, windshields and things were always blue in those. So I think the tinted windows kind of, you know, not really that bad of a look. But while we're at it, we're gonna just go ahead, transform him up, and take a look at that police car mode. Why not? Alright, so folks, this is Prowl's police car mode, and it is definitely a very nice looking car. I mean, you know, the Nissan Fairlady Z usually was a pretty decent looking vehicle, but I kind of do like how they perfectly captured the essence of the actual car that they were going for when they made these, you know, these two particular bots. Now you'll get to see Blue Streak, here in a minute, and I'll try to talk for a couple of minutes about something just to keep you up to date on how things are. But both of them were about $27.90 on eBay. I got them both from the same seller, so excuse me. They were fairly cheap, and for Masterpiece Transformers, they're not that bad. They are, I will say, the only game in town. Yeah, I've mentioned this in previous videos where some of these bots are the only version that has been made so far. I don't know why no third-party makers have taken a crack at the Nissan brothers yet. Now, there are Legends makers that are just hell and high water going right after it, but I haven't seen any of the third-party Masterpiece makers go after these two. So, folks, that is MP17 Prowl, and we will move right along to Blue Streak.
Surf's up, and I'm talking up!
Alright folks, and this is why I just went ahead and did these two as a twofer, just back to back. This is MP18 Blue Streak. So in the series of you know, numerical values, well, of course MP17 and MP18 are both more or less the exact same bot. I think the only difference is from the animation model, you can see that Blue Streak actually has the cannons on his shoulders. All three of them have that option. Well, no, I'll take that back. Smokescreen has like little panels that flip up that hold his guns into place, but he'll be in a different episode. For right now, as you can see, other than some cosmetic differences, like the crest on the head, the shoulder cannons, and really the only other difference is the coloration of the vehicle. I mean, they did throw a little bit more tan into Blue Streak here than his animation model would belie, so I may go for the plus version if it's a little more gray. But oh no, I really like this version of Blue Streak. I mean, he was always called Blue Streak, but he was a gray bot in the cartoon anyway. So as you can see, he too was $27.90 on eBay. So I'm just gonna cut the chatter and go ahead and show off his vehicle mode. So folks, this is Blue Streak's vehicle mode. As you can see, it is yet another representation of the Nissan Fairlady Z. I've already done a little bit of the Farts and Crafts voodoo on him and changed the Autobot logo that's on his hood. Like I said, I prefer the cartoon versions that are made by Toy Hacks, but you know, since all my third-party bots have Toy Hacks Autobot logos, I don't really put the Toy Hacks logo on these unless I actually put more than just, you know, an Autobot logo on them. So the Toy Hacks have really nothing to do other than the Autobot logo. But this is definitely a gorgeous car mode. Like I say, he's got a little bit more, I guess, tan in him than I would prefer. Doesn't really fit the look of Blue Streak, to be totally honest with you. Well, not the coloration. The overall look is perfect for Blue Streak, except for maybe that somehow his shins that make his back window turn dark in the cartoon, and they turn light when he transforms into bot mode. Other than that little inconsistency, this is definitely a gorgeous car mode. So this, folks, has been MP18 Blue Streak from Takara Tomy. I got him on eBay for $27.90. So why not pick yourselves up Blue Streak and Prowl? Why not? Could be could be a nice little addition to your collection.
Now you see me? Now you don't.
Now, folks, this is one that I ordered it feels like eons ago, because I ordered him back in, I think, mid to late 2018, to be honest, because he was up for pre-order then, and I just finally got him in. This is PS-01C Sphinx. Now, the C, as you guys have probably already picked up on this, but like a C or a letter in the numerical designation after the numbers, if there's a letter of some kind, it usually means something. This is the cell version, as they call it, which basically means he doesn't have the numbers and the lettering on his chest. He doesn't have any of the sponsor logos. He is the cell shaded version, I guess is the best way to put it, because he looks more cartoony than the original does, which had all the sponsor logos all over the back of the car mode and all that stuff. He still has the sponsor stuff all over his arms and legs, so there is that. But in the cartoon he had that too, so why not? So this is Mastermind Creations PS-01C Sphinx. I got him at ShowZ store. I waited forever on this guy, and he is honestly a very gorgeous looking version of Mirage. Now, you can see he came with, his shoulder cannon, his hand blaster, but he also, and if I could get it to look right in his hands, he also came with a little parachute from the third ever episode of Transformers. But he is definitely a gorgeous Mirage figure, and he is, like Wheeljack, he is one of those that would stick out like a sore thumb on the highway. Why is that, you may ask? Well, let's transform him into that Formula One racer, and you'll see why. Alright, folks, so this is Mirage's car mode. I don't think if you saw an empty Formula One car tooling down the highway that you would just kind of look and go, yeah, whatever. This would be one of those where you would definitely look and then look again, because you don't see one of these every day. This definitely is a car that is not, I think the words I'm looking for is street legal. But it is definitely a gorgeous car mode. Excuse me. But it is definitely good looking. And I think all the kids back in the day were heavily in love with the Formula One racers. So this is Sphinx's car mode. Definitely a gorgeous looking Formula One racer. And definitely worth picking up too if you have the money for it. He was $89.99 on ShowZ store. So I had to get him. And with him, my Arc Crew set is complete. I now have all 18 of the original Autobots from the first 3 episodes. So folks, this is Mastermind Creations PS-01C Sphinx. Folks, that's going to do it for yet another exciting, not really, episode of Magnus's Loot Crate. The Discord server link is in the description. I hope you folks enjoyed yourself. Like, share, and subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. Get these videos out there. I do these for fun so that you can have fun watching, seeing what I get. So, there you go, folks. I will talk to all of you next time.